Today on Rocket Punch, grab your torch and try not to get lost as we journey into the labyrinth of maze rats.
All right, today we're going to take a look at Maze Rats by Ben Milton, also known as Questing Beast. This is the slightly updated version. It's just the new cover after the Knave Kickstarter. So, I don't know. I love this cover. This cover is so awesome. It's so, I don't know. It just really makes me want to play. And the back is awesome. So it's this huge just print of this landscape with a strange thing coming out and just this strange, I don't know. For some reason, I think of a giant mutated rat when I see that thing. But yeah, I love this thing. Just makes me want to go on an adventure. So let's take a look. Yeah, it's by Ben Milton. The cover by DC Stow, which is awesome. You did an awesome job. So let's take a look at Maze Rats. It's a little bit different from Knave. Actually completely different. But it has that same overall feeling that Ben's trying to go with, I guess, with these kind of OSR kind of games. The feeling of the old school way of playing, which is now the new school way, I would say. Most games are now kind of really, focusing on that old style of play that I think is really exciting. So there's a brief introduction and then goes right into playing the game. So it talks about the danger rolls. And his first thing, as you know, Ben, if you're rolling dice, you did something wrong. But in the case that you do have to roll dice, you have 3 stats: your strength bonus, your dexterity bonus, and your will bonus. So it's pretty obvious what you roll for what. So you'll make a roll on 2d6 and then add that bonus to your result. And if you pass a 10, so you can tell how difficult it is. If you pass a 10, then you succeed. If not, you fail. But hopefully you fail forward, because that's always preferable to keep the story from getting stuck, which it could get. And the same thing with opposed danger rolls. Then whoever gets the highest, or, well, you're trying to beat the other one. Instead of doing a 10 plus, you just want to roll over the other one. There's advantage. So for advantage, you roll 3d6 and take the 2 highest. Then you got your NPC reactions, and then initiative, roll the d6. Whoever gets highest goes first. So we've already gotten through half the mechanics already. Combat. So in combat, you have a base armor rating of 6, and then light armor gives you a +1, heavier gives you a +2. So when enemies are rolling, they have to beat that number, and then they can hit you. And then you have critical hits, so total damage is doubled. And then you do have a shield in here, so you can do shield sacrifice to take 1 blow, which I do like that, because not only is it very cool that you don't get damaged, but it's also very cinematic of, losing that shield, smash, you manage to live. And then you have morale, so they're going to roll a willpower danger roll. Then you have healing, so whenever you eat some meal, then you get a full night of rest. You recover 1 point of health, 24 hours of rest. So in a safe location back in town, you get 1 point per day. And then you got your encumbrance and leveling up. So leveling up, you get 1 XP. You show up, you get 2 XP for overcoming a challenge, and impressive challenges give you 3, and then it tells you what you can get per level. So like level 2, you get 2 XP, yeah, +2 max health, and +1 to ability bonus. So yeah, basically, if you survive the first encounter, then you're level 2, which I typically do in most games that have levels. Would be like your first adventure, as long as you pass that, you're level 2. And then it goes regular experience after that. So that's all the mechanics. We're done. Then you go character creation. So you have some random tables, which I love doing everything randomly in these kinds of games. So you can either roll or choose your ability. You roll a 1D, and then you kind of have a little bit of a balanced thing. So you have +2 strength, +1 in dexterity, and nothing in will. So you're probably some kind of fighter, and it kind of goes that way. So you kind of, and your character is very emergent, and you're kind of finding out what happens too. I love those kinds of systems. You can also do, if you want to roll per ability score, you could do that. So you could do 1 to 2, you get +0, 3 to 5, you get +1, and 6, you get +2. So you could either one of those, then you record your maximum health. You start with 4. You get a starting feature, so you get a +1 attack bonus. or you can get a single spell slot, or you could get something from the paths below. Briarborn, so you're basically like a ranger, tracking, foraging, survival. You're a fingersmith, which is a thief, tinkering, picking lots. You're a roof runner, which is also a type of knavish character, so climbing, leaping, balancing, maybe acrobat. Shadowjack, so you're like a ninja. Well, yeah. Moving silently, hiding in shadows. And then you have all these cool roll tables, which I like. Like this whole thing is just filled with these D66 roll tables. So you can roll or choose 6 items. So you roll 1 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then down the line, D6. You can also choose some starting gear. You get light weapons, heavy weapon, or ranged weapon. They all do the same amount of damage. And I forgot how to mention damage, so I have to go back. So basically all weapons and everything do the same amount of damage. It doesn't really matter. So you're just going to be whatever your attack bonus, your results of your bonus that are over their armor is going to give you the difference in value. So if their armor is a 6 and I roll a 8, then I have 2 points of damage that I cause to them. Sorry, now we're going back. Roll create your appearance, your physical details. You got dreadlocks, curly hair, braided hair, mustache, mutton chops. Your backgrounds, which are always cool. So before you were an adventurer, so you could be an alchemist, a beggar prince, counterfeiter, cultist, gambler. So that's really how you can kind of add more flavor. So maybe when attempting these roles, you might gain an advantage by saying how you're able to do that because of your background. Get to roll your clothing, your personality, your mannerisms, and then a name, level, and XP. Then you have magic. Magic is great in this system. I love this magic system because it's very just make up whatever you want. Well, not quite make up whatever you want. There is some structure. You're gonna roll like a physical effect and some kind of element or other effect and kind of combine these. They kind of have a table to help you kind of make spells. But then once you have something, so like you have a physical element of slime, an ethereal element of soul, you have slime soul spell. So yeah, who knows what that does, but it sounds really cool. But once you cast a spell, so casting a spell just takes 1 action, but once you cast it, you forget it. It's not 100% clear. It says cannot be cast again. Forever? I don't know if I'd do that. I'd just say for the day, kind of like I guess a spell slot. I don't know. I guess it could be forever. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that's a whole bunch of cool things. You can also add some mutations. So maybe, something goes wrong with the spell. Could cause a mutation. You could add that in there. Maybe you could add a roll to cast if you wanted to, probably with the will, and then give a mutation if it fails. That's always fun. You got some insanities, omens, and magical catastrophes. So that's really cool. Then you have your monster selection. So you can make your own monsters. That's pretty cool. You got some, just some examples, aerial monsters, terrestrial, aquatic. You get some monster features. So you could use that as a base and then kind of make it more of a fantasy-ish kind of monster by adding these weird traits. Maybe a dolphin with legs or something like that. That would be weird. So each monster, you have different stats. So you're going to roll the HP of the monster, either weak, typical, tough. So each one has like a different. Weak is 1D, typical is 2D. Armor, if they have no armor, they'll be 6. If they have some protection, maybe scales or something, you'll up it, just kind of like the leather armor for characters, that kind of thing. So you have your attack bonus for monsters. They have a trained, a +1, kind of goes dangerous, +2, masterful, lethal. They each have strength bonuses, dex bonuses, will bonuses. Or if you want to be quick, I guess you could also just kind of throw the attack bonus and use whatever that bonus is as the bonus for everything, just to kind of speed things up instead of having to write things down. If you want to do it on the fly, if you don't want to generate ahead of time, like I don't like prepping, so you can just roll right there at the table and kind of find something. Oh my God, aerial animal, albatross. Okay, I want albatross and a monster feature with claws. That's pretty cool. Sorry, I skip around. You can have magic spells on the monsters as well, and that'll work the same way. And then you have the tables. Monster personalities, weaknesses, abilities. So yeah, you don't need pages and pages of monster stats. You can just build everything here very quickly. You have your characters here, so you got your civilized NPCs, underworld, wilderness NPCs, female male names, surnames, upper and lower class, some assets, some liabilities, NPC goals, misfortunes, and missions. So right there, you could generate your whole town real quickly. You could also make kind of an adventure guild or whatever, somebody who's giving you missions, what the misfortune of the NPC is. So right here, what the goal of that NPC, what his misfortune, what mission he might give you. Generating more on characters, you have some methods, so some appearances, physical details, mannerisms, personalities, secrets, reputations, all kinds of stuff. You can really build a lot of stuff. Treasure and equipment. So in here, everything does the same amount of damage, so it's more for flavor, but the different armor does kind of change. Oh, yes. There is one difference in weapons. Light weapons do your typical damage, and heavy weapons, they're two-handed, but they give one additional damage over that, whatever you did over the armor class, the armor rating, whatever you want to call it. I got some miscellaneous items, worn items, weapon items, some tools, potions, magical ingredients, treasure items, treasure traits, valuable materials. You got rolling up a city, factions, themes, all different types of buildings, what the goals of that faction are, things going on the wild regions, landmarks, structures, discoveries, wilderness hazards, edible plants, poisonous plants, inn names, quirks, and then the maze. So building the dungeon, you can have all kinds of strange dungeons, like a ant colony. Okay. What's going on in the dungeon? Some rewards that might be in there, different rooms you can roll up. So, yeah, you could just say 5-room dungeon. You don't need to actually map out the dungeon and just make different rooms and then passages going through. I think that's the really the best way for quick mind map, really. And then you can just explain as they're going on instead of like drawing up a whole map, and you can just kind of discover it together, which is always lots of fun. Then you have a Game Master's Guide. It has a simple example of how to kind of run the game, and then just a little GM good advice on running the game, or really any game. So my favorite, situations, not plots. Just kind of throw them in somewhere. Player skill, not PC skill. Tools, not upgrades. And then revealing the world. Just kind of depends on what the players do. So as I use the fate die a lot and these kind of tables, that really makes something more emergent, more fun for you and the players. Because if you're just writing it all out, they're just playing your novel. And it's much more fun to have, at the most some story beats you kind of want to get to maybe. But if they go completely off the rails, which is fun, and you should encourage it, then you can quickly recover by just rolling something up real quick, and you never know. You might spend 2 or 3 hours talking to an NPC about fish and chips, or perhaps regaling tales of old about Orc Ball. You never know. And then, but he gives you some advice on building the world, the dungeons, the cities, and then a thanks to all his playtesters and other buddies there. Then you have the simple character sheet. So that's all you need to really have fun. You don't need this tax form to enjoy a game. And then it has the licensing stuff, so the Creative Commons, you're free to share, adapt, attribution, that kind of thing. So yeah, this is Maze Rats. It's a little bit different from Knave. If you like Knave, you'll like Maze Rats. If you like Maze Rats, you'll like Maze Rats. If you like Ben's channel, you'll like Maze Rats. If you like OSR, you'll like Maze Rats. If you like playing games and having fun, you'll like Maze Rats. And this is a great game, too, to take with you on your travels. It's very plane portable, which I always approve for my 13-hour plane rides. So, again, check it out. I'll send some links below to where you can pick this up on drive-thru. A lot of time, it's only like $4 or $5, and you can usually find it on sale, too, sometimes when he has it there. So, yeah, check it out. And, as always, rocket punch! See you later. Bye.